Today's video is going to be me telling you 5 things I wish I knew in my early 20s. And that is crazy. Oh my god, I cannot get over this like late 20s thing because anyways, here's 5 things I wish I knew in my early 20s. Let's go. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, I'm so happy to have you here. I hope you like, I hope you share, and I hope you subscribe to this channel. We do amazing things on this channel, okay? And if you are coming back, if you're returning, I am excited. I am overjoyed. I love that you have come back. Yeah, I won't be here without you, so thank you so much for coming back, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's get into it. The very first thing I wish I knew earlier in my early 20s is stop caring so much about people's opinions. Just stop caring so much about people's opinions. Explore things, do things, learn things, you know, fail, be cringe, do the things that you want to do. Start the channel. I wish I started my YouTube channel sooner, but I was, you know, I cared what people thought and I worried about how I would be perceived. And you know, that's a whole other thing, you know, the sort of fear that we have of being perceived, or the fear of talking in front of people, and the fear of, well, how will people feel about the things that I have to say or the opinions that I have. Just, yeah, stop caring so much about people's opinions. At the end of the day, they don't really matter. They don't really matter. If you want to live an authentic life, if you want to live a life that feels like yours, a life that is truly yours, you know, a life that you'll be proud of, and a well-rounded, wholesome experience of your own life, then you have to let go of the opinions of people. Bring them down a notch, like take them off the pedestal. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And yes, this is not to say go and do terrible things and live a terrible life. Obviously, within reason, you want to care about people's opinions just as much as your integrity and your good name and all of that, you know, counts. But in the grand scheme of things, and to that level where it's obsessive and compulsive and hinders you from living a life that is authentic to you and doing the things that you want to do and the things that truly matter, dead it. Just dead it. It really doesn't matter. So I wish that's something I wish I knew earlier. I really wish I knew that earlier. I feel like I would have done a lot better and come a longer way if I learned this sooner. But I learned it soon enough, I guess, and I'm happy that it's something I've learned now. So yeah, that is definitely something I wish I'd learned sooner. Very similarly to the, or maybe even part of the thing I just finished saying, is I wish I had learned or grown a willingness to be disliked. I wouldn't say that I've gone about my early 20s, or you know, my life leading up to this point, really wanting to be liked by people or being a people pleaser per se, but I will definitely say that finding out that certain people didn't like me, or caring about if people liked me or not, is something that I definitely factored into a lot of decisions that I made leading up until this point. And I have learned that a willingness to be disliked by people is honestly a superpower. Like, you will go far. You will go far when you let go of the need to be liked by everyone. You don't like everybody. There are people that you don't like. So why do you want everybody to like you? How is it even feasible? And of what purpose is it to you? How does it serve you? How does it benefit you? It doesn't. So yeah, along with, you know, not caring about people's opinions, I think right there with it is growing the thick skin and the willingness to be disliked by people. The second thing I wish I had learned earlier, or in my early 20s, is that happiness is not found in the things that you have. It is found in the things that you do and the person that you are. And I'll explain. If you buy a pair of shoes that you've wanted for the longest time, you'll be happy, but like just in the moment, or maybe every now and then when you wear the shoes, but they'll wear out and they'll go, and 10 years down the line you'll forget that you ever owned those shoes. It won't matter as much, you know, the fancy clothes, they won't matter as much. But you see your memories and the experiences that you have and the things that you do, that is that is where you'll find joy. That is where happiness comes from. I have come to a place now where I am so keen on building memories and documenting my life and having these memories, experiencing things, you know, travel, see the world, go places, talk to people, and not people that are just like you as well, you know, people that are not like you, people that are nothing like you. Experience people, do new things, learn something new, pick up a hobby. This is where you will find the spice of your life. That is where happiness comes from. It's not in the things you own. There are so many people that don't have the privilege of owning half the shit that you do, right? But they're so happy and they're so content in the life that they live and, you know, the lives that they do have. And why? It's because they prioritize these experiences. They prioritize community. They prioritize relationships, memories. Like, think of all the stories that your grandparents had for you and the amazing experiences that they had, the lives that they lived, and how those make for good stories for you till today. Stories that will be passed down from generation to generation. And within context, a lot of them had very little means, you know, when it comes to physical and perishable and material things. But they have stories for days. And then sit down and ask yourself, what stories do you have to pass down to your own children, to also pass down to their own children? And where will you find these stories? Is in the things that you do, is in the exploration, is in the actual living of your life. So yeah, I wish I learned this sooner. But now that I've learned it, I'm very intentional about it. I'm doing things, I'm going places, I'm speaking to people, I'm creating connections, you know, building community, being a part of community, and giving so that I can receive as well in terms of, you know, these experiences and memories. And so far so good. It's a beautiful journey, and I hope you start to do that too. So if you are young, if you're just getting into your 20s, or you know, you're in your late teens approaching your 20s, or you're in your early 20s, or wherever you are, honestly, whatever age you are right now, just pause and take stock of the things that you have and the things that you do, and which one weighs more. And I think you should prioritize the experiences and the doing, so that you can have stories to tell and find joy and happiness in your day-to-day. The third thing that I wish I knew in my early 20s is to be comfortable with failure. Just be comfortable with failing. Let go of the compulsive need to be perfect. It's okay to fail. Fail as many times as possible, you know. The more you fail, it means the more you're trying. And like I said on a previous video, the stakes are lower than they will ever be, you know. My early 20s, now I have a lot more responsibility than I did in my early 20s. I wish I tried some things before. I think about my YouTube channel, for example. I wish I started it sooner. I mean, I would have grown so much faster. But even outside of that, I would have been able to document my growth, not just of the channel, but also of my mind. Like, I would be able to look back on certain videos, and you know, there's so many things I believe now that are very different from what I believed back then. And I think if I had started this channel sooner, it would have been like a store of knowledge for me as well, to see just how far I've come and to sort of watch my views change on certain things. So yeah, be comfortable with failure. Most of the times, the reason why we don't do certain things, or don't branch out, or do things afraid, or go outside of our comfort zone, is because we are so terrified of failing. But what's the worst thing that can happen? You fail, okay, and then you try again. You try again. I remember in 2020, I was the first time I heard the phrase failing forward, and I became, I guess, aware of the concept of failing forward, how that you can change or take every failure as a stepping stone to do better next time. and how, you know, every time you fail, you're learning all the ways that a certain thing doesn't work. It's kind of like winning by elimination. Okay, I tried this doesn't work, I'll try something else. If it doesn't work, I'll try something else. If it doesn't work, eventually I'll get to the thing that works. So yeah, just be comfortable with failing. Start the new career, pivot, you know, learn something new, pick up the sport, try, fail, try again, try, fail, try something else. Just be comfortable with failing. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. Failure is nothing to be ashamed of. Just fail. Fail as much as you need to and be comfortable with it. I know that it's not the end of the world. Yeah. The next thing is to learn to tolerate criticism. And I think this is one that we struggle with learning early in life, and I wish it was different. Because when we're young, we're sort of headstrong, you know, we feel like we know everything, we feel like we have it all figured out. When in reality, we are so far away from having it all figured out. And so because of that, and it's also an ego thing, I think, we find it very difficult to take criticism, we find it difficult to take feedback. But as you grow, you realize that feedback is such an immeasurable gift. The gift of feedback. Having people that can tell you this thing that you did, it wasn't too good, do it this way next time, or don't do it again. Or you did this really well, continue. Or you're good at this, put your energy into it, develop this craft. I've seen that this is something that you excel at, you know, work on it. I just wish I learned sooner how to take criticism and how to take feedback, because I feel like my life would have gone a lot faster and better if I picked up certain things sooner. But I mean, I'm still young, so I still have time, and I've learned it now, so it's great. But yeah, I wish I knew this sooner, and I hope you learn it too, that feedback is a great gift. It's not something you can pay for. I mean, you can, but honest, true feedback is not something that you should trade for anything in the world. And the very last thing is, I wish I learned this sooner, is that improving your life is not so much changing yourself. It is more about learning, adapting, and becoming more comfortable with the person that you are. Because so much of in my earlier years, of course, so much of my improving of my life was sort of geared towards changing my life and changing who I am, to sort of fit what I thought was acceptable, or to fit what status quo looked like for most people. But I've learned that there's a lot about yourself that you will not be able to change. And I'm not talking about negative, you know, obviously you can change bad character and bad behavior. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the things that make you who you are. People that have struggled with addiction will never not struggle with addiction. Even when they break the cycle, it will always be a thing that is a part of their life. You know, they will always have to be careful around certain things. They will always have to be wary of triggers and stuff like that. People that have trauma in their past will never not have trauma in their past. And just by virtue of that, the lives that they live will always be a certain way. And people that have never experienced such trauma will never be able to grasp the context of these people's lives. And whatever it is for you, you know, your experiences and your environment, and they've made you who you are for a reason. There are parts of you that you cannot undo. There are parts of you that you cannot clean and change. It has happened, this is who you are now. So improving your life is more of a learning and adapting and becoming comfortable with your reality and who it is that you are, as opposed to trying to change it. I was watching a video the other day, I think on TikTok, where the lady was saying something along the lines of, she was having a conversation with someone else, and that person had just lost their dad. And they were saying, I can't wait until things go back to how they were. You know, I can't wait until life goes back to normal. And she was saying, life will never go back to normal. Things will never go back to how they were. Your dad is dead. there's no back to how it was, because you will never have your dad again. So you will just have to adapt and get comfortable with the new normal and learn who you are now and learn what life looks like with the grief that you will carry in your body until the end of your days. And I think in many ways that is what improving your life looks like. It's about taking stock of what is and all the things that have made you who you are sorry, and adapting and getting comfortable with your new self and growing to be the best possible version of who you are today. There's so much that you can't erase, there's so much that you can't undo, but it's a part of your story, it's a part of all that has brought you to the place that you are today, and it's okay. Just embrace it and get on with it, at the risk of sounding insensitive. You get my point. Anyways, there's so many other things that I wish I'd learned sooner, but I didn't want this video to go on and on and on and on, so I decided to do 5 things. I would be looking in the comments to see your things that you wish you learned sooner. What are the 5 things, or 1, 2, 3, 10? What are the things you wish you learned in your earlier 20s, and how do you think it would have made your life better to have learned those things sooner? Tell us in the comments. And I will see you on the next one. I hope you enjoyed this video. I definitely did enjoy this video. I think talking about each and every one of these points brought certain memories to my mind and scenarios, and it was nice reminiscing on some of the experiences that led me to think, I wish I knew this sooner. If I knew this sooner, I probably wouldn't have had to go through this, or when I went through this, I would have navigated it differently. So yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.